Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. Before I begin, I'd like to thank Michael and Subit and Jennifer for all their support and invitation to present and share some of our work with you today. So I'm going to focus on, I changed my title a little bit, Augmenting Human-Machine Intelligence to Address Societal Challenges. By training, I am a psychologist, but I also play the chameleon in interdisciplinary research. I'm the psychologist, the educational researcher, and so I am in the Department of Learning Science and Educational Research. That's my main department, but I also have affiliations with computer science and internal medicine. And we also run the laboratory for the study of metacognition and advanced learning technologies in HS2 in our suite in 238. And in addition to that, I'm also the learning science cluster lead, the lead scientist for the cluster, and the co-lead with my fellow and dear colleague, Charlie Hughes. And just to give you an overview, where are we going? So in terms of this slide is symbolic of the research that we do. All the research that we do is interdisciplinary in nature. We already have extensive collaboration with computer science and engineering and several other departments in college at UCF since I've been here for 3 years. All our research basically focuses on integration of data sciences, engineering, computer science. As you can tell, we touch on a lot of the topics that our faculty cover. We're also focusing on human and social sciences, obviously the psychological and cognitive sciences, human factors especially, and cognitive psychology. And then also as we integrate and design more intelligent virtual systems, whether it's for STEM or for biomedical training or for patient education, we interface with the design sciences and digital media arts. And also we have lots of work that are currently under progress with the School of Business. So that's kind of an overview. So this really symbolizes the work that we do and the collaborations that we have, and really is a blueprint for our cluster in the learning sciences here at UCF. In terms of the research that we do, so being trained as a psychologist, I am interested specifically in understanding how humans reason, learn, understand, solve problems. And what we do is we take a multimodal, multi-channel data approach. So we collect eye tracking data, physiology, verbalizations, human-machine interactions. And the question is, can we come up with a model that then can be embodied in a robot, in an avatar, in an intelligent virtual human, in an immersive environment, etc., to help the human or humans actually accomplish those tasks, okay? And it can be very simple tasks, school-related tasks, domain tasks, etc. So this just gives you a very specific overview. So we've done work with pedagogical agents in terms of understanding the cognitive, metacognitive processes in learning about complex systems in biology. We work with serious games, our colleagues at NC State in computer science, where it's a serious game, there's a microbiology outbreak, and you have to learn what it is and diagnose it. We work with schools in terms of taking curriculum and creating photosynthesis. This is for 9th grade kids, where they're learning about how to create glucose. And then more recently, we're very interested, and this is where things like military applications are becoming important, is tangible computing, where we have two humans potentially collaborating, collecting the EEG data, the eye tracking data, the physiology. They're trying to prevent the inundation of a coastal system. So really looking at embodied cognition. And the idea is then how can we take things like tangible landscapes, which for example are sitting here on this table, and integrate them with VR so that we can see the different time scales and also the different scales, for example, in terms of transversing and feeling and the haptics of what it feels like to, for example, understand atmospheric issues. We're also interested in the use of different types of immersive environments, for example, not only for medical training, right, as in this scenario here, but also for patient education, right? So those are some of the interests. And of course, the nice thing about what we do is that our methods can be applied to really any area. So we've done work, for example, in medicine. How do we train radiographers, mammographers? How do we train surgical intensive care unit nurses? End-of-life scenarios, high-fidelity mannequins. And here that I'm showing a very brief clip is work that we're doing now at the College of Medicine, where you are seeing the eye tracking data of a medical student who's trying to interpret this this chest x-ray while he or she is actually solving a particular case of different types of cough. So, and what you see on the bottom is the affective data from the facial expressions in terms of how negative emotions, for example, can interfere with diagnostic reasoning. We've also done some other work with colleagues, for example, Joe Laviola and Joe Keider in computer science. We've done work with engineers in terms of trying to figure out how engineers could be safer for the work environment, and this with colleagues in civil engineering and construction engineering at NC State. We also focus on, some of our work is focused on autonomous cyber physical systems in terms of planning and strategizing and coordination. Our current work is also focused on examining the role of intelligent virtual humans, which we see as basically, can we have, when humans are interacting in a very complex task, right? The question is, how do we train the next generation of scientists, learning engineers, for example, who are making the inferences? So here's a student watching the live multimodal data of humans interacting, and she is making inferences about their processes, cognition, metacognition, emotions, etc. What inferences is she making? Are they accurate? Because then the question is, we want to make sure that those inferences that she makes are embodied in intelligent virtual humans who are then able to become the collaborators of these humans. So kind of complete the circle. So again, this technique can be used in any situation. We can replace one with any situation. It can be a training situation, military situation, school situation, workplace situation, etc. That's a lot of what we're working on. And then more recently, back in December, I put a team of UCF. We are the lead institution. We submitted an NSFAI Institute proposal. That is the 20 million 5-year plan, where we are the lead institutions, along with securing collaboration with Carnegie Mellon, Stanford, University of Southern California, and University of Florida. And this was specifically to design soft skills training in healthcare, law enforcement, and education. But you can see that soft skills kind of cut across more than those three areas. And the idea is, imagine you have 3 medical professionals. We have a COVID patient who just died. They are discussing how they're going to approach the family to deliver the bad news, okay? And we have, imagine the intelligent virtual humans that are embedded in the environment. They are listening, hearing, and feeling, and imagine being able to deliver just-in-time training of empathy and emotions to this medical professional team so that they can be better prepared to deliver the bad news to that family member. So we are very interested. Again, this can be used in any domain, any topic, okay? It's currently under review. We'd love to collaborate more with other folks. In terms of what we see the future is, how far can we push AI and intelligent systems, right? Can they feel emotions and develop empathy towards humans? Can they articulate how they are feeling, and how would they express that? And then more importantly, as you see here, is if they are watching the humans solve problems, interact, negotiate, wherever the context is, can they reflect on their learning and performance and self-modify their neural architecture and other psychological processes to adapt to any context? And more importantly, in terms of enhancing human performance, can they explain their and others, and that could be human or artificial learning performance, to derive better solutions at a problem? This could be the problem of how to best deliver the COVID vaccines in the United States. With that, we're asking very fundamental questions that cut across the different disciplines. What does it mean to be intelligent? Where does intelligence reside? How do we know artificial beings are intelligent? We need to come up with metrics for doing that. What other disciplines? Can we include cognitive neuroscience that are needed to advance the science of artificial intelligent systems? How will our artificial intelligent beings, such as intelligent virtual humans, impact our lives, education, health, and work settings? And also very important to deal with, what are the ethical, moral, social, economic, and societal questions that we need to be addressing as we augment humans through the use of artificial agents ubiquitously throughout any kind of context. In terms of future collaborations, what we are thinking about here is healthcare, law enforcement, information technology, education, life sciences, modeling and simulation, digital media, aerospace and aviation. And of course, that is not to mention, of course, all our dear colleagues, both here at UCF across the different departments, colleges, and also across other universities, both locally, statewide, and federally and nationally. And at the same time, we're going to finish off with a huge thank you, because this work is not possible without extensive funding and without an excellent current and former members of my lab, and also without our dear colleagues, both nationally and international collaborators. And with that, I thank you so much for your attention.